What's going on, yo? Welcome back to basketball, and more importantly, welcome back to another mock draft. This time, your boy AVC's doing it himself. We're doing it kind of like every other week. We'll be like reacting to mock drafts, and then I'll do my own, so on and so forth until the draft. I think it should be a fun thing to do. Yeah, we're gonna be using Fanspo to kind of just execute any trades or do this mock draft, help facilitate it and everything. It should be a great time. But hey, before we do that, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment on my YouTube channel up to this point, and I intend to keep on doing so. As always, Ideal Offseason is back, most popular series on the channel. Go give it a watch. The videos are doing great right now. And then also the Do They Fit in the NBA series are out. I believe one came out earlier today, actually, so you guys can go watch that at the time that you guys are seeing this, at least. So those videos get demonetized every time. It's really annoying, unfairly so, but you guys like them. I like doing them, so who cares if, like, there's no monetary thing behind them. But anyway, let's get into the mock draft. Alrighty, so a couple things to note before we actually start. I went and loaded in like a new, I guess, big board, a custom draft board to this, just because the one on Fanspo didn't make a ton of sense to me, and I figured this was a little bit more accurate. This is not my actual representation of it. I just kind of took a combination of what I'm kind of seeing out in the media get circulated, which is always interesting when you have an inside look kind of like I do as to what like actual boards might look like. I really only know what one board looks like currently, but we have ideas of what other ones look like, right? And so, I don't know, I just always find it interesting. But I found this to be kind of an average of what you're seeing on the internet, so we'll go ahead and use that. All right, Dallas Mavericks, first pick. Obviously, you guys had a lot happen this season. You just want something good to happen now, and that's what we're here for. We're gonna make this nice, simple Cooper Flag, right? That's all we want to do. I wanna say though, I think all four of these dudes up here at the top are in an elite category. I think this is very rare. This is a very, very rare draft class in my mind, where at least someone like me, who I'm pretty critical of prospects when I'm evaluating them. At least that's what I've been told. The fact that I think that there's four of them that could be like all NBA type dudes is saying something, because I think there's always this kind of notion on the internet, especially, and people that maybe don't know how to scout people and stuff, right? They always get kind of blinded by all the shiny new things, right? And most people don't work out in the NBA, so I think that's important to realize. But let's just keep this simple. Cooper Flag, he's going to be an awesome defensive prospect more than anything else right away. He's not going to have to be the number one guy in the scouting report every single night when he comes in. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully, the organization can kind of start sailing the ship a little bit smoother, and hopefully he'll have a wondrous career there. All right. The Spurs. So, in this video, we can make trades if we want to. We certainly can. And let me just reiterate my thoughts on the Spurs and what they could do with this pick, because at the time of recording this, we don't know what's going on with like a Giannis or anything like that, right? I see a couple options. If Giannis says that, hey, I would like to be traded, the Spurs instantly become like the number one destination for it. I know people are kind of torn on like how they should handle that. Like, should the Spurs trade the second overall pick for Giannis? I would say yes. I can guarantee you within the Spurs organization, they already know like what those packages would look like if that does become available. And I don't agree with the notion that like, oh, well, if we get Giannis, then our championship window's only this. It's like, well, no, you'll still have like Victor Wembanyama on your team, and you can go get other things in the meantime. So I don't really understand that logic. Just getting Giannis is a phenomenal thing for your organization if you can do it. But for the sake of this video and the fact that I kind of feel like they'll find a way to work it out with Giannis, I think that the Spurs will get to keep this pick. I think they'll take Dylan Harper. I think he's ready to go in terms of being a prospect. I think you could throw him out as a starter day one on this team at like the at the 2 position. I think it's going to be interesting to see how like him, De'Aaron Fox, Wembanyama, right, whoever else they kind of throw into that lineup, fit him next to Stephon Castle, all of those things. That's just such an interesting fit to me. But Dylan Harper, I think he's going to be good at just about everything, like day one. Obviously, he's going to make a lot of rookie mistakes, but he seems the most ready out of kind of the top 4 to be out there. He's got a very pro game already. So we're going to take Dylan Harper with the second pick, and we can see kind of the recap of everything down here. Next, the Sixers. Oh, you lucky ducks. You lucky ducks. I don't think y'all realize, like, the Sixers were this close to losing this pick to the Thunder, and the Thunder getting like the 7th overall pick, because the Mavericks and Spurs both jumped up. If the Sixers don't get a little bit lucky, This is easily the 7th overall pick to the Thunder, which is crazy. So this is another one where I've seen a little bit of like trade rumors kind of surrounding it, and it's almost always combine Paul George with the 3rd overall pick, add insert player. I see like Lauri Markkanen being a guy that people throw into it. While I bet you the Jazz jump at that in an instant. I bet you they do. I bet you that would be an interesting thing. I don't think that's a realistic thing to draw out. If it happens, then shame on me. Then you guys can all tell me, AVC, you were so stupid. Fair. Got my ass that time. But here's the thing, right? If you, first of all, I just think you should keep Paul George. He was injured most of last season. You didn't get to see him with like any of this actual team. You should give it a shot. Like, you went and did it. You should give it a shot. But more importantly, if you keep Paul George and the 3rd pick, you can contend now, presuming that everybody's healthy and ready to go. You can add in Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, whoever you want, to this rotation, and you get a really nice just role player addition to your team in the form of a very talented rookie, which is awesome. And if it doesn't work out and you need to move on from Embiid, Paul George, whoever, at the end of this season, well, then your rebuild's already done. You already got Maxey. Hopefully McCain's going to be an okay scorer for you, and like whoever we take here. And who I'm going to take is Ace Bailey, because I think he fits in the middle of like the need for the team and the upside talent if you want to try to build something else afterwards. I personally think he's got the highest ceiling in the draft class. If you ask a lot of other NBA players, they'll tell you the same, just because of the sheer athleticism. The jump shooting is really, really impressive. I actually think his ball handling is pretty good for a 6'10", 19-year-old, if I'm being honest. Like, I know some people like criticize it or whatever, and I'm like, well, are you comparing it to like other 19-year-olds, or are you comparing it to like Paul George? Then yeah, his handle is nowhere near as good as like a Paul George or something like that. So I always find that interesting when people on the internet are like, oh, his handle's not that great. I'm like, well, as someone that did player development and knows what it's like to work with like 19, 20, 21-year-olds, I'm like, he's pretty damn good at what he does already. So I like Ace Bailey. He's definitely got some room to grow in terms of just learning the game better, because Rutgers didn't do a good job of teaching it. But hey, we're just going to take him and move on. The Charlotte Hornets, we've said this with like every mock draft we've done. They've just got the easiest pick in the draft now. You just take the remainder of the 4. In this case, I think VJ Edgecombe's the best fit for you. You need another guard next to LaMelo and Brandon Miller, a guy that can provide you a spark plug offensively. Day one, just out of his sheer like athleticism, which is nuts. He's already played some professional ball, which is really, really cool. Defensively, he's pretty high impact as well. He's getting into the paint. He's blocking shots, right? It's not necessarily like, oh, I know what's going to happen defensively. He's using his athleticism to make plays, but the fact that he's so actively involved now tells me that he should project pretty well long term. So I think you just make this simple. You take VJ Edgecombe, you slide him into the starting lineup day one, and you're good to go. Utah. This sucks, right? This is not where you wanted to be. Unfortunately, the lottery did exactly what it was supposed to do, and it gave you the draft position that, numerically at least, you were most likely to get, and that's unfortunate. But what do you do now? I wish I could tell you you're trading into the top 4. I just don't see where it happens. Like, if the Sixers call you and offer you Paul George and a 3rd for Lauri Markkanen, shit, yeah, I'm probably doing that. I know they love Lauri there, like I know they do, but I think you just have to do it for the sake of the franchise and everything, and you try to swing for the upside, but you didn't get it. So now what do? I think we take like highest upside guy in position of need, which for this team, it's a wing, right? Like you got Markkanen, you got Collins. We'll see if he sticks around, right? You got plenty of other guards on this team and bigs. Like you got Walker Kessler. And please stop, people. Don't drop any more Walker Kessler trades. I can't stand seeing those. Why would they trade him? They're trying to like rebuild right now. He's a good young player. Why wouldn't they just hold on to him? I don't understand it. So I think they just take Trey Johnson here. I promise I'm not just going in order for the sake of going in order, but I just think Trey Johnson's the logical choice here. Elite scorer, right? He's going to be able to get buckets at an NBA level day one. It's will he actually play winning basketball? Oh, that's yet to be seen. But I trust in the Jazz to be able to develop it. Like his defense is going to need some work. Like playmaking is going to need some work. But Duke can hit a jumper from anywhere. So you know what? I'm excited to see what he can do. The Wizards. This is an interesting one. This is an interesting one. So you look at the Wizards roster, right? And I don't think I'm actually going to probably film like a Wizards ideal offseason potentially like right after this video because I've got to pre-record a bunch of things. So be on the lookout for that. This team's roster doesn't really need to change much this year because this team's still looking to be bad, right? This isn't the draft position that they'd like to be in. Obviously, they would have liked to have gotten a Cooper Flag or something like that. Really, the only like long-term player that you probably feel good like that good about is Alex Sarr at the center, just because he kind of followed the trajectory that you expected this season of really, really good defensively. He's not really there offensively right now. That's what we expected, right? So we feel pretty good about him at center currently, so I feel like that scratches Maluach kind of off the board already. If I'm looking at the rest of their roster, like Jordan Poole, like, yeah, he's fine for a tanking team that's not trying to do great. Like, he takes a lot of the scoring pressure off of your young guys. I think about, like, Bub Carrington and Keyshawn George, and I go, okay, neither of those dudes are screaming to me like I shouldn't pick someone at their position regardless. I should just go for upside and potential and yada, 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 right? So I'm looking at two people for that. I'm looking at Yakachonis and I'm looking at Fears. I've heard a lot of things about the Wizards really liking Fears, and the thing with Fears for me is, like, me personally, I don't buy into it quite as much. Like, I don't see quite as high a potential just because I don't see the high-level athlete that a lot of people do in it. To me, like, he's just kind of average at that, and that's supposed to be a big selling point for him. He does have a lot more moves to his game. Like, he's pretty fearless. He's hit some big shots already, which is usually a decent indicator that, like, he's got some skill to his game. But I'm trying to think, like, would you rather go for, like, someone that can just kind of, like, steer the ship right now in Yakachonis, who I'll say, like, I don't think he's, like, got all-star potential, but I think, like, starter kind of day one type of dude that can really steer the ship, and he'll be a quality starter for you for a long time. But I think the Wizards will swing more upside here with Fears, and I think they'll make him and Carrington kind of just go at it. Because again, this isn't what I think should happen. This is what I think maybe will happen. So I'm gonna go with Fears here. All right. The Pelicans now. This is where this is where the trades start to kick in, right? So we've talked about it a couple times on the channel. The Raptors almost certainly want Maluach, who's next on the board right here. Again, I promise you I'm not just going in order, but this is just how it's kind of working out right now. I look at Maluach, and he seems perfect for Toronto, right? He seems to be the exact guy that Toronto would want. They're pick number 9 right now. They don't want to lose out on Maluach. So the Pelicans, knowing this, already having Yves Missy, they can reasonably say, like, hey, we'd like to add another center to this rotation. It's hard to find centers. This guy's got a lot of upside. He's obviously very talented with all of his defense, and he's only getting better. Yeah, he's a really interesting prospect. Should be a starting center in the NBA for a long time type of guy, right? Defensive anchor. They're going to call up Toronto, or Toronto's going to call up them and be like, hey, we want Maluach. And the Pelicans are going to be like, oh, really? Well, we'd like Maluach, so you better hope we don't take him, right? And they're going to be like, yeah, I get it. You have all the leverage. Let's work this out. But here's the thing, right? It's moving 2 draft spots right now, and that's kind of all. So let's go to the trade. I guess what is this? What is this tool actually called? The trade machine right here. So let's just throw New Orleans into this. They're right here. We want to throw Toronto in. And so the first thing that we're doing is we're swapping pick 7 for pick number 9. Now, it's only 2 draft spots. The Pelicans, in theory, should be able to still get someone that they want here, right? Like, they should be able to get somebody very, very interesting to them. And the talent level at those picks is pretty similar if you ask most scouts at this point. It's like, yeah, no, those are relatively similar players. So this isn't like a huge thing where you have to give up like a large amount of talent in order to actually make this happen, but it's got to be something, right? So the Pelicans only have 1 pick in this draft, and they probably wouldn't mind having another. I also want to take a look at like 2026. They don't have a second round pick there. So I think what you do if you're Toronto, because Toronto just has a lot of second round picks on the roster this year already, or from this last season, I think what you do is you send them the second round pick from this year, send that over to the Pelicans, and then you just throw in like a pretty simple name along with it just to move back a couple spots. Like, who would they want? They could probably use like another point guard on the roster or something, but they might draft one as well, so maybe they're not quite as concerned about that. I don't know. Do you throw in like an Oche or something like that? I don't know. Oche was pretty solid this last season, so I don't think you need to throw in someone like him. Maybe like a Jamison Battle, just to kind of have like that shooting wing on the team down in the reserves. I don't know. It might only just be the second round pick as well. That might be all you really have to do. So maybe this trade's enough. Maybe just adding another second round pick for them is plenty. And you know what? I think that's probably fine. It's not a bad pick in this draft. It's only moving down 2 spots. So I say we just execute on that. So let's find Toronto. Here we're sending this over and we're sending this over. The 7th pick comes over here. Trade the pick. Toronto is now on the clock, and they're going to take Malawach because really that's the position of need for them. They're looking for a longer term center solution. Jakob Poeltl is going to be fine to start right now, but you take Malawach for the future and everybody's happy about it. All right, Brooklyn on the clock with number 8. This is where things start to get a little bit interesting and things might start to go a little bit out of order. Brooklyn is in an interesting position right here, right? They have got 5 picks in this draft, which I think is pretty nuts, in all honesty. As a guy that's coached before, just having freshmen and having rookies on the team can be a lot. Having 2 of them, that's usually ideal. 3 of them is like, okay, like we're doing okay. 4 of them is hard. 5 sounds like a nightmare. You just don't want that on your team. I can stomach 4 draft picks for this team. I can because they're in this spot where they just don't have any long-term talent on the team currently, and I think that warrants just taking a bunch of swings, just getting up to the plate and taking some swings because somebody's got to hit then, right? But we can package 2 of these picks together and turn it into something else longer term. We're definitely not trading the 8th pick, but I want to move some of these bottom picks here and try to figure out a way that we can maybe move up in the draft a little bit more. And so here's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm just kind of going off the old dome here, and I'm gonna mock out a trade really quickly, so just give me a second. Alrighty, we got 3 teams on the board here. We got the Nets, the Kings, and the Heat, and this is kind of what I'm thinking. I think we've all seen the DeMar DeRozan to the Heat rumors, and I think that that's actually like not a bad idea. Overall, I think that'd be a nice ad for them. They can get a cheaper guy in DeMar DeRozan. You send Terry Rozier back to the Kings because, look, the Kings should be trying to get worse, not better, this year anyway. But we come into this for picks, right? That's what we're trying to do. The Miami Heat have the 20th pick in the draft right now, right? We would like the 20th pick. And so here's kind of what I'm thinking with this. So we would like to package 2 picks here to acquire the 20th pick. So we want to move up in the draft right now. We get the 20th pick. I think what we can send over is pick 27 to the Heat right here. I think that that's more than fine. You send that over here, and then pick 36 would go over to the Kings. And here's the whole logic behind it. Let's get the full trade up here. We move up in the draft. We package 2 picks together, and we don't need all of them anyway. We package 2 to move up and get a much better player at 20, right? We move up, how many spots? 7 whole draft spots in a pretty good draft. I feel good about that. Terry Rozier moves over to the Kings. That's fine. They could use the point guard anyway. They get off of money a year sooner, and they get an extra draft pick in a draft that's not very good. And the Heat, in this instance, move back in the draft a little bit in order to get off of Terry Rozier and get DeMar DeRozan. The Heat probably win the most out of this. Then honestly, no, I think it's pretty fair overall. I'd say it is pretty fair. Like I said, the Kings, they're trying to get off money sooner. DeMar DeRozan's a tough guy to trade at this point. There's not many teams there where he'd probably fit in. This is probably the one that works. So this is kind of what I want to draw up quick. So let me trade these picks right here. So we got to get the Miami Heat involved, and the 27th pick is now theirs. We now have the 20th pick. So let's trade that. And now we also have to get the Kings on here. So where are the Sacramento Kings? Right here. We're sending the 36th pick over to them. So now We've got 4 draft picks. I know we're here to actually do a mock draft, so let's actually use some of these draft picks. Who do we want is the question. I personally think you go with a guy that can just be your starting point guard day one. I don't feel the need to bring back D'Angelo Russell. Cameron Johnson's almost certainly going to get traded, it feels like, this offseason for like another lottery pick. And so I wouldn't mind drawing something up to try to make that happen as well. So let's draw up one more trade, right? Because why not? Why not? So let's also get... I think we all know where I'm going with this one. Let's get the Spurs involved. The Spurs don't need 2 first-round picks this year. They really don't. I think there could be an interesting move in this for us. So let me take a look. Cameron Johnson is someone that we can give them. That's pretty valuable right here. Send that over to the Spurs. We would like the 14th overall pick. That comes over to us right here. Try this trade. That doesn't work, obviously, for financial reasons. They need to send some money back. We would like some young players back on this roster, right? Keldon Johnson. Sure, we don't really have any wings on this team anyway. Send him back to us, most likely. The more I'm thinking about it, actually, though, financially, it should probably be Vassell, right? They probably want to get him off of the books. I don't think this is the optimal move for the Spurs, by the way, but I think this is a solid one. We take back Devin Vassell, so we take back a little bit more money. We are getting a solid young player on a pretty long contract, which is valuable to us. So I think what we do is we kind of move back in the draft in this more so. So I say we then move this 19th pick over to the Spurs, because we're both getting something kind of mutually beneficial, right, in this. So then we try this trade. I know that financially works. So Cam Johnson, we move up 5 spots for it. No, maybe we give you a later one even than that. Do we think that that's fair? I think that that's probably fair. I feel like we can move back a little bit less than that. So let's give you... Do we give you the 20th pick instead? Like, I don't think it's the 26th. Let's give you the... Give you this one. This one goes over to the Spurs instead. So you now have the 20th pick in this, and we get to move up to the 14th. I'm cool with this. A lot of trades taking place right now, and I do think it's going to be a very busy trade season this year. So let's do this. So the 14th pick is coming over here. 20th pick is going over there. Trade the picks. We have Vassell on the team now, so I say we take Kasparas Yakachonis to kind of help facilitate for all of those people. He should be a starting point guard day one, good playmaker, hopefully can hit some 3-pointers. Cool. There we go. I know I'm taking a long time on this. Sorry. I try to be detailed on this channel. If that's not for you, then I guess it's... I guess you gotta go. All right. Pelicans on the clock next. They probably would have liked Yakachonis, so that's an unfortunate thing for them. But who do they want to take now? I think they could still take another big right here in Asa Newell. What's cool about Asa Newell is I know they list him as a power forward. Don't expect him to play power forward. He's more of a center. As we've said multiple times on this channel, Georgia played 2 centers, and they literally had them do the exact same thing out there. They played like a mirrored offense, so just whatever way they decide to go, the one person did one thing and one did the other. Newell was definitely more of the forward of the two because he was able to put the ball on the floor a little bit. He could step out and hit threes if necessary, but where he's best is just being a cutting, run, jump, and dunk big that can block a couple shots every once in a while, get a couple rebounds, play with good energy, but the outside jumper does look like it has some potential, and he looks like he can put the ball on the floor a little bit, so that's the kind of center we want next to Zion long term. It's hard to find bigs. Let's take Asa Newell with the 9th pick for New Orleans. The Rockets, we got to trade this pick, right? This feels like a pick that needs to be traded, and I don't exactly know what I would want to do with a trade like this, just because like the Rockets just they don't need anything, right? Like they don't need more rookies on their team. They have enough of those. So who are we trading this pick to? Like, who's even available that we want? Is this a Kevin Durant move? I guess it could be. Like, Jaylen Brown is kind of the other one, but I don't really think that makes a ton of sense necessarily either. So let me think for a second and try to cook something up. Man, with Cam Johnson gone already, and we're not really sure what a Giannis deal could look like. If a Giannis trade becomes available, cool, and I think we'll have plenty of other opportunities to mock that out. I'm just not really seeing something that's like all that interesting here. If I'm being real with you guys, I can't find somebody that really warrants it, and I think that's fine. I feel like Devin Booker is like the number one option to go for if he becomes available, but I don't think he is. So I think with the Rockets here at 10, we know we need some shooting, right? We know we need some shooting. That's what Khan can deliver. I think we could probably add another like guard wing kind of shooting guard small forward combo guy to this team. So I think you just take Khan here for the sake of he should be a good shooter right away. He'll come off some screens. He'll play feisty defense. I like the pick here. Portland, pick number 11. Who are we taking here? They need to take somebody that can benefit the other young players on this team right away. I don't think you need to take an upside swing. I think you need a fit here more than anything else. You're hoping that Scoot Henderson's on the court a bunch this year. We want Shaden Sharp out there. Denny's kind of like the guy right now, which is kind of cool. You need Klingon out there, and you want Tamani Kamara. You need some shooting. Cedric Coward feels like the fit here more than anything else, but is he the actual move that you want to make? That's a little bit of a push, right? It feels like a reach for a guy like this that, look, for a very brief breakdown of him. He only played in 6 games last year. It sounds like he's staying in the draft, so somebody has promised to take him somewhere earlier in the draft, right? Otherwise, he would have just gone to Duke because they offered him like $3-ish million to go there, which means he got picked somewhere like in the 20 or like above 20, something like that. I don't know if it's Portland necessarily. It could be a lot of different teams that promise they'd take him. When I watch his film, I see really, really elite shooter. Like, dude has like picture perfect form in a lot of ways. So a lot of the other ways that he scored in college, not really what he's going to get to do in the NBA. So I think he's going to be just more of a shooter that could hopefully play some solid defense just because he's pretty strong. I wouldn't call him very athletic, though. I know I've seen some people kind of compare him to the Kawhi Leonard and everything. So maybe this is just more of a fit pick. You could go for a little bit more, we'll say like rebounding and stuff like that of like a Liam McNeely's a little bit younger. But I don't think you want to take McNeely that high. I think there's a lot more risk with that. So I think you just take Coward here and you just say, look, we're just trying to support the other young guys on the team. Let's not overcomplicate things. The Chicago Bulls with the 12th pick. Ooh-wee. Okay, this is an interesting one. The Bulls have a lot of guards on the team. They don't need any more guards. Could they still take other guards? Oh, they certainly could. They certainly could, and I would not put it past them. You look at other guys that could be available for them. You see a Senge. He's a guy that he doesn't really have a particular skill set that stands out. He's just kind of like pretty solid all around and a good basketball body. And so that makes you curious. Colin Murray-Boyles feels like a pick that they would go for here. He's kind of a defensive prospect in a position of need, kind of at that forward spot. I don't really like his NBA fit right now. Like, I just don't see him as a guy that when he doesn't have the basketball on the block, he does anything on the offensive end. And then again, defensively, I like him. He's active, but again, he can really only guard one position. So that's a little bit iffy. I think what the Bulls maybe do here is they just go and take more of an upside swing in a Derek Queen here. I think they just go for a center that, as much as I wouldn't be excited about that as a Bulls fan, I think they just go with the big that's, again, kind of a hard fit because of his play style. He's not the most athletic, kind of needs the ball in his hands a little bit more to operate, but maybe you do something with him and Giddey of two really smart kind of playmaking guys out there and you can make some stuff happen. Sure. Why the hell not? Take Derek Queen. The Hawks with the 13th pick now. Alrighty. What are we doing here? This could be a pick that gets traded, but I don't really feel the need to do that. I think we can probably take someone here. You look at this team, they could probably use like another backup guard or something behind Trey, so I feel like somebody could jump up in the draft here, and they could also probably afford to take somebody that's maybe more of a long-term guy, because look, a lot of their lineups set between Trey. You assume they'll bring LeVert back. They got Dyson, like Vitz there if you need to. You have quite a few wings on the team, but I'm trying to think, like, do they want to go get like another center or something? I don't think it's a Murray Boyles or a Senge necessarily. I don't think you go for like a McNeely. You could take the upside swing in Bryant. I feel like Yegor might be the one here because, again, they just don't have like a ton of ball handlers on this team, and they don't need him to do much day one because Trey's going to be on the court so much. Again, I don't think he's ready to necessarily play NBA basketball day one, but I think it's more of an upside swing that you can afford to take right now. This doesn't have to be like an instant contributor to this team. I think you'll find other ways to do it, so let's take Yegor with this pick. By the way, I hope you guys are leaving some comments about your picks on this. I'm down for the discussion. Nets back on the clock. So we've taken Yakuchonis with the first one. Let's keep taking swings, man. Let's keep on taking swings. They've added Devin Vassell to this team in this scenario already. I look at a guy like a Carter Bryant, who is like one of the higher upside swings in this draft. Uber athletic, can shoot the three ball, it seems like already. It's not a high sample size because, again, he only started a couple games. He didn't play that much, only about 6 points a game. But you watch him play, and he just kind of screams NBA player that just needs some time to develop on a good team. Seems like the culture could be good here. You'd have people setting him up day one in like Yakuchonis, right? Vassell's going to get some shots. You're going to have a center on the team already. I think you just go with the upside and take another big swing with Carter Bryant. OKC. Oh my goodness, how did you guys get here? This feels like a perfect Noah Senge spot. He doesn't need to play right away. He can take some time to develop. He can kind of assume the Usman Jang role of just being like, hey, lengthier wing that doesn't really get in the games right now, but long term this could be good because they need some like bigger wings on this team. Again, they can kind of develop his skill set. He'll have a lot of other talent around him to play off of. I think this is a good fit. The Magic, we need some shooting. Who's it gonna be? Okay, you could go with McNeely, like, because he projects to be a good shooter, but he didn't actually shoot well, so I don't think you can take that risk. Jace Richardson is here. Is there anyone else that you'd maybe consider with the 16th pick? Maybe it's not Richardson, because here's my thing with Jace Richardson, right? Like, yep, he can shoot. Like, we know that. Like, he can go without the basketball, move around, catch and shoot. That could be a valuable guy to have. And the reason I'm a little bit nervous about him as a prospect is because I don't trust his ability to create his own shot, even though he's the size of a point guard. And defensively, because of his size, I don't think he can guard like wings. I think he needs to guard a point guard. So a team like Orlando, where maybe you are giving Franz and Paulo and Suggs the ball a little bit more, maybe he does just guard the point guard, but offensively, he's kind of playing more of an off-ball role, so maybe that's not such a bad thing. So I don't hate that. I think we take Jace Richardson with this pick just so that we know we get some actual shooting. Timberwolves, 17th pick. What are we doing with this one? This doesn't need to be someone that can play right away. And by the way, I know Colin Murray Boyles is still on the board. I do think he's a guy that's going to fall in the draft to an extent. Who do we want to go with here? You have to assume Nickeil Alexander-Walker probably out. This team could use another ball handler for sure. I feel like they're going to make some sort of move, though. Like, we don't necessarily need a rookie for it. Rob Dillingham will do a little bit more next year. I wouldn't expect him to get a ton more playing time next year, but some, because he's a longer-term prospect, right? We're giving him time to develop. So I think what you might want to do with this is just make sure you get like someone that's solid day one. And I kind of like Neek Clifford being able to come in with this pick. What do we know about Neek Clifford? He can put the ball on the floor a little bit if needed. He doesn't have a ton of moves, but he can attack the rim. He's a pretty solid athlete. He's got a nice little jumper on him right now. He's a smart passer that just kind of feels like the right guy. And he's an aggressive rebounder. He's like, I look at him and I see Josh Hart. And so I wouldn't mind throwing a guy like that on this team. He can play either forward position, should be a decent enough defender right away. I say you take Neek Clifford and we move on. The Wizards. We've already taken Jeremiah Fears. Who are we taking next? You could use a power forward on this team. Now, this might be a place where you take Murray Boyles and you just say, okay, yeah, let's swing on the upside a little bit. It'd be maybe... It wouldn't be the worst thing either, because like if he does work out, the thing with him is he can't really shoot at all, and he doesn't really look like he's going to figure it out, at least in my mind. You can always teach it, right, and get better at it. It's just, it seems more unlikely than likely, in my professional opinion. But the fact that Sarr seems like he could be a guy that figures out how to shoot, it might not be the worst thing to have a CMB on the team. So I think you just take Murray Boyles here. I think that's far enough for him to fall. Brooklyn. Okay, who are we taking now? Do we just take another upside swing here? Because we certainly could. Or we could just go for another positional need, because in this draft, we've acquired Devin Vassell, we've lost Cam Johnson, and we've went with Yakachonis and Carter Bryant. Do you go for a big now? Do you go for a big? Because Duron Sharp's restricted free agency. I could see him potentially being used in a move as a complementary piece. How much do you really want to pay him anyway, outside of like $5-6 million? That's probably the most that he really goes for. So we could go with a more senior level guy. We've taken 2 freshmen. You can go with a Maxime Reynaud. That might be the option. He looks like what Brook Lopez is now, not a young Brook Lopez. He's got some solid athleticism when he actually gets going towards the rim. I think his post-up game is pretty bleh overall, and the jumper's kind of weird, so I see why it's a little bit inconsistent, but I think we can get it there. I like the confidence he plays with. The question is, do you want to just take more of an upside swing again and like a Sorber, or do you want someone that maybe can step out and hit a little bit more? I think that could be kind of cool playing off of Yakachonis, giving him more options early, so I think I want to take Reynaud with this pick. Spurs, they moved back to 20th right here. They need lengthy wings that could potentially shoot. McNeely just kind of screams that guy, does he not? I feel like he'd be a good Spur. He had a little bit of size to the wing. I don't think he's ever going to be anything tremendous. I think he's a pretty low ceiling guy, but just a guy that's coming off of screens, hitting shots. We learned, because his three-point percentage was pretty bad in college. If you go and look at the numbers, basically when he dribbles and shoots, it doesn't go well. Anything else, he's pretty lights out. So just have him do that. There's plenty of ball handlers on this team. All you have to do is run around, catch and shoot. We'll take McNeely. That's fine by us. The Jazz, 21st pick. Let's take another swing at the same position, just because, again, we've got other guys that we're developing at other positions. I like the idea of, and I'm just kind of looking through the rest of these, I like the idea of Will Riley here. I know he's just kind of next on the board, and I think that that's fine. Really good athlete, can put the ball on the floor a little bit, which is helpful because we don't necessarily trust all the guys on this team that are point guards with the basketball. And looking at you, Isaiah Collier, oh my God, do you turn the ball over like crazy. But hey, well, let's hope he gets better at it. 6'8", nice wing that can put the ball on the floor a little bit. That's interesting enough for me. Showed enough with the three-point shot during the season. You just hope that him or Trey kind of works it out. And again, you don't really have a lot else going on at the forward spot this year, so let's just take them both and throw them both out there. The Hawks with the 22nd pick. They've already taken Yegor here. Who do they want next? You could go with like a Fleming. He'd be more ready to play right away. You could go and get the backup guard that you're looking for as well, though. And that could be kind of interesting. You could go with like a Nolan Traore, who he can at least like kind of run an NBA offense day one. I think he's going to need a little bit more time to develop. But again, you took Yegor already, so you'd like to give him at least a chance. You could go with a backup big. Okongwu's going to be your guy this year. Clint's probably not going to be on the team this next year, almost certainly. So you could just go with a Sorber or something. Defensive center that hasn't shown like the most athleticism or anything, just kind of doesn't make a ton of mistakes. He's coming off an injury, so we don't have a ton of film on him, but he just seems kind of solid. He has to grow into his body still. He's pretty young looking. But you could just go with Fleming so that you have another option. He's really good without the basketball. He never actually creates his own looks, which I don't actually think is a negative thing. Sure, it's nice when you can do that, but guys that look to get themselves open are really valuable, especially on ball dominant teams like this. So I think you just take Fleming here and fit him into the rotation kind of day one. The Pacers, this is an easy one. They take Sorber. They need a backup center. This is a guy that can play just a couple minutes when Turner's not on the court every once in a while, or whoever else. Sometimes they'll go small with Pascal and Obi. Again, longer term prospect, take a little bit of time to grow into his body, but you can keep the defense up when Sorber's out there. This is a really easy pick. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where he ends up. OKC, they've got another pick right here. They don't need a point guard. As much as I feel bad that Clayton and Traore are still on the board, I like them quite a bit. Danny Wolf is also still here. You could go with like a Pettiford or something. Yaxel's not actually in this draft. They've taken a Senge already. We could just kind of double up on lengthier wings because, again, Well, no, this team could use another ball handler. They really don't have ball handlers outside of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and then Jalen, but you presume Toppich will get some minutes next year, so at least maybe. So maybe you just do go with kind of a reserve big. That's not the worst thing. Maybe you just take another project. You already took one French project. Let's take another in Joan Beringer, who, look, all he is run, jump, and dunk, right? I don't think he's ever going to be anything more. I'm not sure we're going to try to make him anything more, but I think that that's a solid selection with the 24th pick. I'm looking around, like, you could go with a Drake Powell just for pure athleticism, but I think he falls to round 2. Serif is interesting. Hugo Gonzalez is kind of interesting as well. He feels like he could be one that you kind of store on the bench for a year. But it's rare to find bigs, man. There's a lot of interesting enough bigs in this draft, and bigs just don't come around very often. So I'd say just take Joan. He doesn't need to play day one, but at some point maybe you can't afford one of Hartenstein or maybe Chad, I don't know. And you have another one kind of waiting in the wings. So we go there. Orlando, shooting. We need more shooting. We could go with Walter Clayton. We could go add another actual point guard to this team. I don't think that that's necessary. I feel like Danny Wolf is one that we've done before, and this feels like the pick that should probably just be continuously made because he feels like long-term, at least in my mind, I think he can be a starting center long-term. I think this would be a how do we want to say it? Like a steal of the draft, if you would. I'm not saying it's day one, but the ball handling ability, the passing, it's all really cool. Yes, he gets himself in trouble with certain drives every once in a while. He's a smart guy. I really think you can teach that out of him. The jumper looks really good. Like, he's processing things really fast, seems super smart. Long term, I feel like this could be a really nice option to put next to Paolo and Franz, because again, you just need shooting around them, especially at the center spot. So we take Danny Wolf here. Brooklyn, again, with the last pick for them. What do we want to do? What do we want to do with this one? I look around here, and I see that we've taken a guard, we've taken a center, and we've taken a forward. We've taken 2 more upside guys, and one maybe that's a little bit more ready to go right away, but we're not so sure about. I look at who's left, and I wouldn't mind just taking another bigger swing here. And I feel bad that Walter Clayton's fallen this far. I feel like it just doesn't need to happen, but, is what it is. So let's see. I look at a Noah Penda, and I think that could be kind of an interesting one. He's just kind of a different look than a Carter Bryant, who's going to be more of a skill athleticism forward. Penda, younger guy, but extremely physical, kind of the grit and grind type of dude that's going to try to attack the paint, get a ton of rebounds, can step out and hit just a little bit, but plays with a lot of energy. That feels like a nice kind of complementary piece. It feels like we're taking a bunch of different swings in different spots. They should all be able to get some minutes out there. The Heat. Oh, this is where Walter Clayton comes in. Yeah, they need the point guard. Walter Clayton stay in Florida. They need a guy that can create some shots. He's rotation guy day one. I truly think so. I think this would be late for him to fall. If you guys want to see me do a mock draft where it's hey, this is what I think teams should do, let me know down in the comments, because I'm happy to do that versus what I think will happen. So let's just go with Walter Clayton here. I love the pace at which he plays the game. I think he can be a guy that can create shots coming off the bench for a long time. Cool player. The Celtics. Who are we taking here? So they're going to have most likely Peyton Pritchard be the starting guard next year. I assume Derek White will still be on the team, and I'm going to presume Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are still here. Porzingis probably gone. I think they'll find a way to add another center in a Porzingis trade. I could even see them trading this pick back in order to help make a trade work, but we're just going to take somebody for the time being. I think Traore would be an interesting fit here. I like Pettiford personally a little bit more than Traore, but I think in the Celtics case, they go for a little bit more size to complement or to have kind of the inverse of what Peyton Pritchard is. He can run an offense day one, in my opinion, at least off the bench, right? He's a pretty skilled guy. He's played in professional leagues for a while. He's pretty smart. He's a decent athlete, passes the ball really well. He's going to have other good players around him. I think you just go with Traore here. Phoenix. Who are we taking? This feels like a good one for Pettiford. Now, you need kind of a scoring point guard that can have the ball and distribute to others. Cool, let's make it easy. I like him in terms of his athleticism, his shot creation. I think he could turn into kind of a long-term starting point guard. I really do think he has that potential. So keeping it nice and simple. Clippers. 30th pick here. Obviously, Lendeborg's not actually an option here. I'm just kind of taking a look and seeing who else is kind of all around these ranks. Who's on the team right now? You've got ball handler here in James Harden. Kawhi Leonard's going to have the ball a decent amount. Norm Powell at times is going to have the ball. So you take a longer term prospect here, somebody that's maybe a little bit more exciting, because a lot of their rotation is going to be set, but they could probably use a backup center as well, huh? So maybe we go and find them a backup center. I personally think, and I know we're going a little bit low for this, but I think a Janai Broom shouldn't actually fall that far. So I think Janai Broom here is just a guy that can go be physical, play good defense, rebound the basketball for them whenever Big Zoo is in the game. I think that that's a smart selection for him. So I think you just take Janai Broom there. And that right there is our mock draft. I'm only doing the first round here, and there's a specific reason for that. One, I haven't actually I haven't finished up all the work that I'm supposed to do for like my team and stuff to kind of evaluate the second round. A lot of these workouts are still kind of going on. That's part of what I have to do this upcoming weekend. That's why I'm pre-recording a lot of stuff, right? So it should be a good time. I'll have a stronger opinion of kind of who should go where kind of after that, at least. But for now, this is my mock draft, so I'm curious to hear kind of what you guys think. We made a couple interesting moves in here overall. I think there could be plenty more, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, leave me your comments down below. Let's move on to the comments of the video. Alrighty, y'all. Comment of the video is coming from the San Antonio Spurs ideal offseason video. That video is obviously doing pretty good. I'm not surprised by that. There's a lot of interesting options in there. Go watch all the ideal off seasons. They're, I think, a lot of fun. They're doing really well. Best series on the channel by far, as well as go show the Do They Fit in the NBA videos some love. Again, I'm pretty sure one came out earlier today that you guys can watch. You guys are getting 2 videos today, you lucky ducks. But yeah, show them some love. The comment to the video is coming from PWN Pone Obi. I don't know. First of all, he just said, I really enjoy the details you include in your videos, appreciate the great effort involved, and when you could just be a talking head in the video. So first of all, thank you for that, but I love this. Like, look at this organized comment. Like, there's good grammar in it. It's well thought through. This is clearly somebody that's like thinking through things step by step. You said I'm not going to read all of it. You can, and I suggest you do it and join in the conversation with them. He said, overall great video. The offense defensive numbers, while without context, still provide a lot of insight. That's something that we talk about a lot on the channel. So I just really love comments like this. This is exactly what we want the YouTube channel to be about. People that are engaging in good conversations and just putting some actual thought and detail into things. So I really appreciate that. And hey, if you want to engage in more thoughtful conversations, go join the Discord. Link is right here. It's free to do so. You can also get access to the ideal offseason spreadsheet from there. It's free to download. It's on the announcements channel. But yeah, as always, I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys are having a good end of the week, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks so much. Bye.